Hey, hello to my friends and Pega partners from all over the world. Welcome to the Movember edition of Pega Partner Hour, a monthly webinar that provides Pega partners with support in the sales, technical, and industry domains. As always, we'll be recording this session. If you prefer not to be recorded, please feel free to drop from the call, and you're welcome to watch the recording at a later time. Before I introduce today's show and our very special guest, a quick reminder that the PegaFest World Tour continues. As you know, PegaFest is an event that provides an opportunity for developers to learn new skills, connect with other developers, and advance the Pega vision. If that's you, please don't miss a chance to come out to this great event. The next one is this coming Tuesday in New York City, and you can get all the information at pegafest.com. And so now, please allow me to turn the stage over to a man whose resume is so long and so distinguished that I simply don't have enough time to speak to everything he's done. But I can tell you he's an experienced leader, a client engagement expert, and an analytical technologist. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Pegasystems Chief of Clients and Markets, the one, the only, Mr. Leon Trefler.
Well, thank you, Randy, and what an incredible introduction. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
I'm
being
really
here.
grateful for the opportunity to speak with our partners. You know, um, Awful lot going on in technology, and an awful lot being talked about relative to AI. And the term AI was actually invented at Dartmouth College in 1956. And Dartmouth invested quite heavily in researching AI for the next couple of decades. And they tried to see whether AI could be, applied to lots of different problems, one of which had a group of engineers trying to see whether or not they could program an agent to play chess on par with the world's best players. So in 1975, when Allen won the World Open Chess Championship, he happened to be a sophomore at Dartmouth College. And it was natural for those engineers to recruit him to be the subject matter expert in terms of how they were trying to train this agent. And it's because of that, Alan got exposed to artificial intelligence and IT. And it's because of that, he changed his major from economics to computer science and decided to pursue a career in IT, working as a systems integrator, delivering lots of projects. And after doing that for a couple of years, he came to an epiphany. What he realized is that people were building the wrong applications. What he saw is that people were building applications under the assumption that a person needed to do the work, maybe assisted by automation. But when he looked at what people were doing, well, they were making business decisions and following standard operating procedures. And based upon his experience with AI, Alan knew those things could be automated. So he realized people were building the wrong applications and became passionate about it and decided to found a company under a mission to change the way the world built software. What he wanted to do was to change from a paradigm of building applications where people are assumed to do the work to build applications on the assumption that automation would do the work supervised by a person. It's a vision that he described as the autonomous enterprise, and he began the pursuit of it 41 years ago. What's interesting is today, as you take a look at what's happening in AI, the major players in the space are starting to talk about the agentic workforce. They're starting to talk about the autonomous enterprise. And so what we see is a paradigm in which the market is really moving towards Pega's point of view, towards our vision for how work should be done. And of course, as with anything, technology goes through this giant hype cycle, and there are going to be winners and losers. Okay, and the reason that technology generally falls into a trough of disillusionment is that the losers overpromise and underdeliver on the ability to execute on the greater vision. And we think that's what's likely going to happen to lots of other companies. And we think Pega is going to be one of the winners because of four fundamental reasons. The first being our DNA. The autonomous enterprise is what we were built for. I mean, other technologies were architected under the assumption of users. Pega wasn't. That's why when you build in Pega, you build from the center out. You build the workflow first. You build thinking about how you can get the work done without ever requiring a user to do anything other than supervise it. And as a result, as you think about an agentic workforce, okay, receiving requests and automatically figuring out what to do, in a regulated industry, that's going to be pretty tricky. What you really need, okay, is some kind of orchestration architecture, something that manages the stages and steps of how that agent will operate. Pega has the right architecture. But the other thing to keep in mind is, can an agent, okay, truly engage with a customer without understanding the context and then re-decisioning in real time around what should happen next? The idea that you can accomplish this without real-time interaction management is one of the naive reasons why we think many others will fall into the trough of disillusionment. The customer decision hub and our ability to drive adaptive and predictive decisions is an extraordinary differentiator and a requirement for the vision of an agentic workforce to ever actually work. But finally, there's Blueprint. Now, if you think about what Blueprint is, if I was to like oversimplify what it takes to develop an application, you have requirements gathering, you have the application build, you have integrations, and you have user acceptance testing. And when you take a look at Blueprint, it shortens the time for requirements gathering, it shortens the time for the application build. But that actually isn't the point. The point actually behind it isn't to necessarily enable our customers to deliver applications in quite less time. The point is to enable our clients, okay, to solve the macro problem that has been holding them back. See, most of our clients spend upwards of 80% of their IT budgets maintaining the 20, 30, 40, 50-year-old legacy applications that they have in their own infrastructures. What they really want to do is to rethink, reimagine, and retire those legacy applications. Because you think about the handcuffs that they place organizations into. Not only are they trapping enterprise data, they're trapping those enterprises into doing work the way that they did 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. So the macro opportunity that sits in front of us is for us to take Blueprint, okay, and together help our clients rethink and reimagine how they want to do business. If you think about how lots of companies are talking about AI, you've got, Pega with our own, okay, adaptive and prescriptive AI that we've been in market with for over 2 decades, ranked as the #1 product in its space. You have generative AI, which is currently being used to summarize a lot of things and, to help with user productivity. But nobody's really thinking about how you take AI and apply it to completely reimagining and rethinking your legacy architecture, your legacy infrastructure, those handcuffs that are truly trapping you. So as we see what the opportunity is for us together, it really is jointly attacking that problem space of legacy transformation. And I'm thrilled that with the advent of version 24.2, we're taking another big step along that overall journey, the journey to help our clients achieve the autonomous enterprise. And so it's kind of with that backdrop, Randy, I gladly hand the floor back to you so that we're able to continue the discussion of what's in 24.2.
Leon, thanks, man. That's great information, and man, I love the passion. Leon, and before you go, a quick mention. I don't talk about this, and I should, because this is, the partner hour. This is about partners. I was at an internal Pega event, and it wasn't, so it's not hyperbole. And I remember you got up and you said the following quote. I wrote it down when you said it, and I was an AE at the time. I wasn't intimately involved with the partners as much, but you said any Pega sale that doesn't have a partner involved from the outset is inherently flawed. And I think that's particularly still poignant today.
But I think it's actually, yes, it is still poignant today. And when you think about the ability that jointly we have to go after the legacy transformation space, it's
Oh,
even more essential. Because as we're going to be talking to clients around how to rethink and reimagine how work gets done, those legacy applications are, integrated with lots of other technologies that are out there. And having an experience and knowledge base in terms of, those other technologies is obviously going to be a requirement. But it's really the intellectual property that our partners have gathered through the decades of when they've been delivering solutions, where they're able to take their own IP, enter it into Blueprint, leverage it into Blueprint to provide our clients with really vastly superior solutions. Look, I mean, we know what we know, and our partners know a whole lot more than we know. And so it's by bringing ourselves to our clients together with our partners that we've, put ourselves in the position to give our clients the best outcomes. So yes, I
so,
firmly believe that a deal sold without a partner is inherently flawed.
well, Leon, I agree with you to the end of the earth and back. And hey, listen, thank you so much for jumping on. We invite you to stay. And Also, thank you for everything you do, not just for building this great software and this great company with your brother, but continuing to make it better, adding things like Blueprint that Stephanie and Anthony are going to talk about. It just keeps getting better. It really does. So thank you very much, Leland.
Thank you, Vinny.
All right. And now moving on, if everybody is ready, I'd like to introduce Anothony Abdulla, Pega's Senior Director of Product Marketing, and Stephanie Hawkins, Pega's Senior Product Marketing Manager. They're going to take some time to talk about Pega's latest release of our 24.2 platform and Pega's Blueprint, which we all know is game changing to help implement Pega faster than ever before, to boost efficiency, and to deliver better business outcomes for our clients. So without further ado, Anothony and Stephanie, please take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Randy. And thanks for inviting us to be here. We're really excited to be here talking to partners today. Welcome, everyone, to our session on what's new in Infinity 24.2 for the platform. I am Stephanie Hawkins, Senior Product Marketing Manager at Pega. I'm joined by my colleague, Anothony Abdulla, Senior Director of Product Marketing for the platform. And, today we really want to cover and introduce you to everything that's super new and exciting in 24.2. But before we do, I would love to just back up a little and kind of talk about some of that bigger picture that Leon was talking about with regards to what we're seeing in the world today and some of the things that we're seeing our clients facing, and I'm sure you're seeing your clients facing in this sort of new age of AI. So, just a quick reality check. Right now, I'm sure, as you all know, these expectations just across the board are rising for everybody. And there's this huge shift in focus towards AI and automation. And it's really putting intense pressure on operational leaders and executives to deliver what they may think of as kind of impossible results and outcomes. And we're just kind of living in this world where these seamless experiences are essential, but the reality is that there are some real blockers to making these types of experiences actually come to life. And these blockers are really, inefficiencies and disconnected processes and all of these things we're seeing our clients facing that are actually in this era real competitive risks. So, one of these, for example, and you see this stat here on the left, is Gen Z and millennials as these example customers. They really expect instant answers and instant resolutions, and they're perfectly ready to kind of give up on resolving their service issues if they can't do it themselves. And then you have employees who have very high expectations for the tools that they're going to get to do their job. And yet, on the flip side of that coin, you've got 86% of executives who believe their organization isn't using the workforce to the full potential. And then sort of lastly, you have these high expectations to optimize and drive agility, and yet also do more with less. And there's this very real, fact that 30%, up to 30% of company revenue can be lost every year due just to inefficiencies. So obviously it can be really hard to meet all of those expectations. And, there are individuals like these here on the screen, the customer, the employee, who are managing these outdated systems and these siloed work groups. And that's really leading to backlogs and burnout and frustration among customers. And so in our view, there are going to be some companies who are going to come out of this era as winners and companies who are not going to come out as well. And the ones who don't are kind of going to be the ones who just continue to do the same thing, who keep building these separate, disconnected apps with these winding lines connecting, all of their siloed systems to one another. And also making the assumption, as Leon pointed out, that there needs to be a human doing this work. And in our view, the companies that are going to do really well in this moment are going to take a different approach. And that approach, I'm going to let Anothony talk about that actually. Anothony, how are the most successful companies or the leaders in this space going to tackle some of these problems?
Well, everything you touched on, and Leon, of course, touched on, is just the need for underscoring the need for a unified platform to orchestrate all your work and deliver those consistent experiences. One that allows your business to enhance efficiency, reduce that manual intervention, and really enable end-to-end process orchestration and automation. So that means that your customers enjoy those instant answers and fast resolution. Your employees are able to perform their job well and actually enjoy doing so, gaining visibility throughout your organization so you can achieve more with less, and having outcomes that stay secure, maintained, audible, and repeatable. And if you have a platform like this, those connected to all your channels, you're going to transform your business. And the funny thing is that Gartner believes this as well. They have this new emerging category called BOAT, which stands for Business Orchestration and Automation Technologies. And according to Gartner, a BOAT software platform enables enterprises to automate and orchestrate end-to-end business processes while connecting multiple enterprise systems of record via any applicable integration method. And so kind of what complements a story that's all too familiar for us, what previously required stitching together multiple disparate systems will be considered under BOAT, providing that more unified experiences. So allowing business and IT to collaborate more effectively and achieving all those values we just talked about. And to be honest, this all sounds all too familiar, and it's really as if the stars are aligning in a very wonderful way, because it's almost as if they're basing this new category of Pega. So we're really excited about this, because this is what we call center out. This is what Pega was architected to do. This is complements what Leon touched about to start, is that with Pega, you're not just simply adding automations, you're rethinking how workflows flow throughout your entire enterprise. And instead of piling on new systems, you're able to build on that operational backbone and bridge the gap between those disconnected processes and those engaging customer experiences. And at Pega, we believe the way to arrive to these outcomes is first you need to digitize your process. And then once your process is digitized, you have that visibility to understand how you can begin to automate that process, add in AI and decisioning to see where we'll add the most value. And as you automate and you add those AI decisions, you can connect those processes to all your channels. So if your customer started off as a process in their mobile app, it can easily be picked up across another channel with everyone having visibility into the entire life cycle. And what's cool is that your employees are guided throughout every workflow, and you can transform with minimal disruption. And the magical thing that happens is that every time you automate with Pega, you're kind of moving one step closer, moving that work out of the back office and the contact center into self-service and taking your organization closer to that promised land of the autonomous enterprise. And that's just the gist of what we're trying to get at. And now I'll toss things back to Stephanie, because we're going to get into what's new in 24.2 and what this means and how we're making this even better.
That's great. Thanks, Anthony. Yeah, so that, sort of brings us sort of to what we want to share with all of you today, because obviously this has been a intense 2-year period since ChatGPT, became mainstream. From our end, it's been a really busy couple of years for updates to the platform. With our Infinity 23 release, we introduced Pega Gen AI. Infinity 24.1 brought us Blueprint, which has obviously been a very exciting development. And 24.1, it was really about, doing more, unlocking potential so you could focus on those outcomes that are going to have the most transformative impact on the business. So in 24.2, we're excited just about all of the enhancements we've made that build on those original promises. These updates that are just all about helping everybody innovate faster, increase productivity just across the board, across the enterprise. And the way we really want to start sort of framing that discussion is the fact that one of our goals at Pega is to help our clients take a business problem that they want to solve with technology and take it from an idea to an implemented app as quickly as possible. Because we know for a fact that when it comes to implementation, it's really easy to have an idea, but obviously a lot harder to turn that idea into a working app. So to that end, we have released a number of enhancements to help that process along, to help our clients take those great ideas they have and turn them into fully functional AI-powered workflow applications faster than they ever could before. And obviously, the first part of that process is the app or workflow design process, which, as most people know, can often feel very painful, very drawn out, and that's where Blueprint comes in. Anthony, for those who are not really familiar with Blueprint, can you sort of give some context on what it is?
Yeah, we can. Hopefully, that's a bit of a redundant question, but in short, as you should hopefully have heard or know, that it's really a breakthrough tool that uses AI to drastically accelerate how we design our workflow apps. You can literally go from idea in your head to a fully working app to show your stakeholders in seconds. And once you've got a blueprint, this isn't just a proof of concept. You can import it directly into your Pega platform and continue to enhance it. And that's just the beginning. We've been adding more to Blueprint. It's been really indicative of a new Pega, which is pretty awesome. Since our last release, we've made a number of enhancements. Blueprint, it's not something that's been updated once or twice a year. Blueprint is being updated on a bi-weekly to weekly basis. And while it's got an awesome roadmap, many of the items on it have been directly influenced or prioritized based off of your feedback. And it's been really awesome to see that level of collaboration with our product team. One of the cool recent new features has been the ability to preview your app in your own branding. So being able to show your team not just the functionality, but also the look and feel to really match your company's identity. It's not just a game changer for, imagining what your application could look like, but it's a game changer just for gaining internal buy-in and having that to back you up. And on the next slide, as you see, a big focus to complement what Leon was talking about earlier was on legacy transformation and how you can reimagine work from your existing systems. I think we all suffer from this problem. Every organization has those legacy systems. Some have hundreds, some have thousands of the old apps just hanging around that are draining resources. And we feel it's time to retire them, to clear out that technical debt and focus on innovation into the future. And we've added features like the ability to import BPMN files, those legacy business process notation files, or DDL or Swagger files. So what this means is you can connect your data, you can connect your applications, and easily extract from those old applications and what they're doing, and move that functionality into a modern cloud platform, all within Blueprint. It's fast and it's efficient, and it really positions you to truly innovate. So encourage you to check out some of the latest there. It's really exciting. This is all free right on pega.com. You can scan that QR code right on the screen right now. And as we touched on, once you start designing in Blueprint, the next step is to make it real, making that reality in App Studio. And to that end, we've worked to make this process easier and even more effective. So within 24.2, there's been a number of updates to address this part of the application development process. We handle a lot of the generation of what your application means, from your case types to the data types to the personas to the data. We generate a lot for you, but some of the things required a little bit more detail, things that we haven't quite captured. Maybe some business logic, maybe some authentication profiles to connect to your system. So what we've decided to do is that we've gone to build a checklist on import that's based off all the data in your Blueprint of the next steps you should go to take to get that app running into production as soon as possible. So we generate those user stories, they have a clear acceptance criteria descriptions, and they even give you the step-by-step processes to complete those tasks. And if you have pretty much everything in the box that you need to really accelerate your whole application development lifecycle, from that ideation stage to the requirements gathering to getting it all the way to production. So we're really excited for this, and we're seeing a lot of great responses from our Pega developers already. And while speed is obviously top of mind in accelerating development, another critical part is obviously the collaboration process and making that process a bit more productive and intuitive. And to hone on that problem, we've introduced this concept of operator workspaces. Because honestly, in the past, sometimes it was hard for multiple people and work groups to collaborate on the same app at the same time. Hard to communicate, hard to see what they were doing. So this concept of private workspaces, this is having the ability as a user in App Studio to check out rules or to check out things that you need to work on without disrupting other people on your project. So you can branch your development very easily in App Studio now. You can see the list of changes that were made. You can bring those back into the working application. You're free to experiment in your private workspace. It helps present just greater visibility and just creativity and transparency and collaboration throughout the app building process. So we're really excited for that capability. And we've also made more enhancements to our reuse library. I think we started a few releases back with a lot of enhancements, and because we know it's important, it's very foundational to Pega, it's foundational to our layer cake, those reusable assets. So we're trying to make them even easier within App Studio to be leveraged throughout the building process. So we've got roughly half or a dozen more rule types available in our libraries. You can create instances of rules and select what layer of their application and what layer of reuse the rule belongs in. And the goal is making sure that people working in your application are efficient. We're able to maintain that maximum reuse, taking advantage of the layer cake, and focus on accelerating the completion of your application as soon as possible, while doing so in a safe, secure, and governed manner that's only going to multiply as you build application and able to reuse existing components. So a lot of excitement there in terms of just enhancing the reuse library. That's been a big one in terms of feedback. So excited to announce that. And to turn things back to Stephanie as we're continuing on.
Okay, great. And yeah, so let's switch gears a little because we've talked a lot about how we're supercharging that application design and development process with these updates to Blueprint and App Studio and our reuse library. But another area where we've also poured a lot of energy is around how to make everyone at an organization more productive. And in that realm, we've released a number of enhancements focused around minimizing manual tasks and optimizing employee performance with AI and automation. And sort of one of the first areas we're doing this is with Gen AI Coach, which we introduced in 24.1. And Coach is really an AI assistant that enterprises can actually trust to guide employees and arm them with the skills and the knowledge they need to do their jobs with less training. And so in 24.2, we've made some great improvements to Coach. And I think that's, Anthony, where you're going to start, right? Can you talk a bit about those?
Yes, yeah, we could spend the whole hour talking about all the developer improvements. So I'm excited to move on to some of what this means for the employee. Coach was introduced in 24.1, as Stephanie mentioned, and that was very much the foundational layer. It was our first steps to more of that agentic processing that you heard Leon touch on at the beginning, our foray into agentic AI. And with 24.2, Coach has gotten enhanced in many ways. One, we looked at the whole user experience, making it to be easy to be added to not just individual cases, but also other places like landing pages and other parts of your application. We've made it so your conversations are continuously threaded so that if you add new questions in a coach, and it comes back with new responses based off those existing answers. So you could say like, based off what you gave me in your last message, how would you suggest this next step? And finally, we've added more common questions that we want employees to have at their fingertips. So not just having suggested questions to what they're working with, but having more of a proactive feel. So actually getting prompted and guided to ask the right questions and coach prompting you as you advance your case, using that case data to give the right advice, the right feedback, and the right steps proactively to really level up that expertise and to keep people kind of in the moment and gaining that knowledge. So really taking Coach that next level of the autonomous enterprise and really make it, like you said up front, Stephanie, making it every employee your best employee. So lots of exciting things to come with Coach. And as a complementary to Coach, we've also made some really cool things behind the scenes in terms of our Gen AI Connect rule. And really, I'm looking at this as kind of model choice. The Connect rule itself is kind of the foundation for all of our Gen AI capabilities in the platform. We leverage it for everything from our developer experience to what's behind Coach and all of our Gen AI capabilities. And now we've added just much more flexibility and control to this. So you can select from different providers and models just based off the use case and based off the, what the model is intended to do and what model has the best, fit for what you're trying to do. And you can do this down to the rule level, which is really exciting. So you just have really the control and transparency all the way down as how you're integrating and using AI to your comfort level. You can do things like overriding system instruction for particular use cases. You can change the temperature of the AI. And all this really presents just more flexibility to better leverage AI providers you're comfortable with and really making what makes sense for the use case that you're using. So lots of enhancements here, and there's a lot more exciting things to come in our roadmap. So really excited to see what's coming in terms of just the control of AI that we're enacting throughout the platform. And this is also being used in Knowledge Buddy. Knowledge Buddy was something that's been fantastic in terms of leveraging those internal knowledge bases and making those present to level up just employee productivity. And we're making Knowledge Buddy better because we're just making it maybe easier to recognize things like acronyms and your synonyms and questions. So this helps improve the content matching without altering the original content. So by doing this, you're giving better precision with the questions that are being answered and more accurate and relevant results to what the feedback that's getting. So this complements kind of what we touched on in Coach, because users can kind of choose their preferred natural language model for Knowledge Buddy based off the use cases and what they're looking for. And this just benefits everybody in terms of the productivity that's being done and the quality of answers that are being leveraged. So Knowledge Buddy is continuing to get a step up So I encourage you to check out that. And we've got more updates behind the scenes. Our whole BICS and real-time extraction for data intelligence has been taking an uplift. This new capability complements our existing scheduled batch extracts and allows clients to really apply what we've had and do that for events in real time. So this just really makes, a simpler, easily way to extract data and leverage your data and report on it. And we've added new integrations to the platform with Google BigQuery and Snowflake, so seamlessly connecting to Snowflake without the need for a custom integration, really being able to easily ingest data predictions and business rules for processing. Google BigQuery is a popular data warehouse, and this allows you to leverage these capabilities with Process AI in your workflows and eliminates the need for kind of file-based integrations that just makes integrations much more easily and seamless as you're doing things. And to continue to raise things back up as we started to go in the weeds here, Stephanie, another area where we're making employees more productive is with our Gen AI process mining assistant. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So for anybody who's not familiar with Pega Process Mining, it's a really powerful tool, helps business and IT users visualize a process and get insight into how that process is actually running. So it shows you where you've got things like slowdowns or bottlenecks or repeat work, and it can also make suggestions for how to optimize a process to save time or just clean up inefficiencies. And in this release, what we've added to process mining is our Gen AI assistant, which is really aimed at democratizing the process mining data and making it just as easy for a business user to understand what process mining is showing as an IT user. So this is essentially a conversational feature that's going to make investigating a process easier and faster. And it allows you to just ask questions about your process that you can ask it things like, where do I have a bottleneck in this process? Where is this process slowing down? And it will also provide recommendations for how you can improve the process. So all of that, makes it really a big difference in the ability to just continuously optimize as you're moving towards that autonomous vision. So that kind of wraps up our employee efficiency theme. And what I want to do is loop back to our original theme of speed and acceleration, because one of our strengths at Pega is our ability to help companies get to their desired business outcomes faster. And in 24/2, one of the ways that we're delivering on that promise is through updates we've made to Constellation. So updates, to a modernized UX framework that's really purpose-built for productivity and usability across every channel. Anthony, what specifically have we done in that area in 24.2?
Again, there's been tons of things in Constellation, and I'm sure everybody's heard of Constellation. It's been our best foot forward in terms of creating those productive experiences that Stephanie just touched on and bringing those to reality. And we've had a number of enhancements across the board, everything from the ability to work better with attachments, to add different patterns and performance and accessibility. We've been able to, but one big step forward is kind of bringing Constellation throughout industry apps and our customer service applications so they can take advantage of all of that amazing productivity and user experience across channels and take advantage of all the latest and greatest from 24/1 and beyond across those applications. So really excited to bring that to the center of experience. This has really helped with the back office experience as well, the ability to use the DX API and connecting that to self-service experiences. So really bringing that center out to life and then an amazing, engaging, easily maintainable and updated user experience that kind of brings all that stuff that we talked about at the beginning, from your employees to your customers to you yourself as a leader in your organization, and bringing that experience to you. There's tons of capabilities around SDKs and other channels, but want to highlight just a couple things important, and we can get to what else is coming along the way. But one of the things that is near and dear to my heart since I came to Pega is our mobile experience and being able to actually run native mobile applications with the Constellation framework. And there's been numerous enhancements and feedback over the years. And in this release, we've really kind of doubled down to really make that every employee your best experience wherever you are. So just double downing on our employee and offline experience to make sure that work can happen and seamless navigation of maps. You can access attachments. You can manipulate and leverage data online or offline without worry about it not syncing and losing anything as you are working in disconnected experiences. So there's been lots of updates to offline and our mobile development experience. So really excited to that. And we've had a lot of tactical improvements. There's so many things that have happened at the case level and around theming to make sure that branding your application looks good and looks and feels within your brand and making that easily and more maintainable, to lots of things within the case, to adding attachments to having data pop up more easily, just to lessen fatigue and to make employees feel more productive all around, and to have that kind of unified experience across all channels using your latest and greatest technology. There's tons of great content on the community that we'll get into, because as always, we could keep going on and on about all the good stuff in the user experience. This list is just slight indicatively of what we have available for you. We'll get into some resources at the end, but we're trying to keep this going. This release and these slides are just kind of like scratching the surface of what's coming. So on the roadmap, you're going to see a lot more in terms of legacy transformation. That's going to be a big theme for us the end of this year and throughout next year, as you can only imagine, making it easier to bring in legacy systems into Blueprint, into the platform, and being able to reimagine those. We have a lot of things in terms of help using Gen AI to automate the whole testing and application development experience, obfuscating a lot of the stuff that happens and helping a lot of it work behind the scenes, and just accelerating the whole software development lifecycle, and lots of things in the background to help make that happen at an architectural level, and admin tools to give you insights to where you are. We have a lot going now on the employee efficiency front and leveling up coach and the agentic AI framework. So we have a lot of exciting capabilities coming that you'll be seeing at Pega World this year. So I hope that you stay tuned for that. And process mining is being continually advanced too, and looping that into the legacy transformation story, bringing that into Blueprint and enhancing the capabilities there. And we're working, this kind of translates to our user experience as well, in terms of enhancing the migration support for a lot of your legacy UI and screens, and making that as easy as possible to get into the system. We have actually a lot of exciting announcements coming in the near term for legacy transformation, and a lot of things that are being complemented on this roadmap. So I assure you to just keep your eyes out. And just a couple sneak previews too. By the end of the year, we're also looking to add even more model support. So things like Google Vertex and Gemini will be added in by the end of this year. And we have a lot more exciting news there next year as well. But if you have questions or comments, please don't hesitate to reach out to Stephanie and I, and we can loop you into the right people. But on that note, I would say thank you for diving in with us into some of these capabilities at this level. And Stephanie, where would we like them to learn more?
Yeah, that's great. Lots of exciting things on the horizon. If you haven't tried Blueprint yet, highly recommend getting in there. And, it's really, I know we've said this, but it's really not just a process creation tool or a diagram creator. You're actually going to be starting to design the application and see it come to life as you work on it. So this QR code will get you there, or pega.com/blueprint. For more info on kind of the bigger picture on what we talked about today, definitely check out our community video library, always being updated, academy training, and documentation as well, if you want to get more into the weeds. But that is our quick intro to the platform, and we are obviously happy to answer any questions anyone has today.
And thank you very much for taking the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, listen, I got to tell you, that was awesome. That's an A+ effort right there. I always try to do at the end a quick, takeaways, and I've got like 3 pages of notes. It would be redoing the presentation. A lot of times people will see things and go, yeah, I kind of heard that, or that's been overdone. Like, here's the takeaway. Number one, you two are fantastic. That's one takeaway. Takeaway number 2 is 24.2 is awesome, and it just keeps getting better. Blueprint just keeps getting better. If you're not using it, you're just missing the boat. I mean, really, just unbelievable stuff. Like, this is one And I can't wait till the recording comes back and get it up there because people are going to watch. I don't know how people would have kept up with everything because that was.
Well, that's the hardest thing
a
is cutting
lot.
down. But on your point, on keeping up with staying on the boat is staying on top of Gartner and what they're doing with that boat magic quadrant, because you're going to see a lot from Pega in terms of thought leadership and being, just a prime player there. So we're really excited to see this change in just the market and aligning with what Pega does best.
Yeah, and you are both really a big part of what Pega does best, man. Thank you very much. Like that was, I mean, I don't mean to be hyperbolic when I say it. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. I feel like the kid in high school where the teacher puts a few people together and says, does a project, and you two got me the A today. Thank you so much. So with that, hey, we're going to give people some time back today unless some Q&A comes in. I don't see it popping in, but we'll talk for just a second here. But I want to thank Anthony and Stephanie and Leon for all the work you guys have put into today's presentation. I mean, nobody's done the hour better. I mean, really, just great stuff. So now as we reach the end of another Pega Partner Hour, I want to remind you that we're here on the second Friday of every month at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Next month on December 13th, we're planning something just a little bit different. So watch your emails for that email and that invite. I don't think you're going to want to miss this one. With that, I wish you all the best. I look forward to seeing you all on December 13th for the next episode of the Pega Partner Hour. Until then, sell and be well. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.